Fake eyelashes make me way more tired than I actually am. It's like your eyelids are at the gym and constantly like lifting weights. That's why I feel like my eyes always look half shut, and it's because my lids are just, they're just a little weak, okay? I'm having a little bit of trouble, but I'm here. I'm ready. Hey guys, what's up? It's Haley. Welcome back to my channel. Before we start, I just want to apologize for the fact that there's a lot of noise going on in my neighborhood this morning. Everybody seems to be very excited. The birds are up, awake, and having a grand old time. There's like trucks and construction. There's a lot going on, but I have to film this video, so we're just gonna muddle through it together. Wow, really? So first of all, the last channel that I uploaded on this video, the last video that I uploaded on this channel was a little bit more on the darker, more intense side, and I also just genuinely can't remember when I last filmed a story time video for you guys, so I thought that it would be kind of fun for us to just chill, hang out, and laugh about something absolutely ridiculous that happened to me. And this story, first of all, I have been so incredibly excited to make a video about it since it happened. It's just completely something that would only ever happen to me, but had it happened to anybody else, I would have thought it was the funniest thing in the entire world. So today I'm gonna be telling you guys this story about my first date with my boyfriend. There's a fly. Can you not? We actually met when we were both traveling. We met in Thailand, and we met on a particular island called Phi Phi, and let's just really quickly be adults about that. And this island, just to be fair, is a bit of a party island, okay? So every night on the beach, all of the beach bars throw parties, and it's really cool because each bar's party is like a little bit different themed, so you can kind of walk the length of the beach and hop through different styles of music and like vibes. It's fun, it's really cool. The energy there was so nice. We actually met at one of these parties, and these details are not very relevant to this story, but we met at a party. We actually really hit it off. It was kind of like a super quick connection. I don't know, he's a special guy. Obviously we both want to see each other again in the morning, so we meet up for breakfast with some of our friends. They're actually leaving that day, so Fabi and I, after breakfast, we decided to go to the beach. I was gonna tan my little life away. It was supposed to just be a nice calm day on the sand. Because, to be totally honest, we were both really hungover, okay? We're both of legal drinking age. Just be responsible and careful, okay? I'm gonna leave that there. I mean, the fact, honestly, that we were both a little bit hungover is worth noting because the way the day unfolded would have been a little bit less awful had that not been the case. Although, really, I don't think even at my best I would have handled this well, so just, we'll get there. So, after breakfast, Fabi and I get all of our stuff and we go to the beach. We lay out, we're hanging out, chatting, and just getting to know each other a little bit better. And eventually, we kind of just realized that technically this is our first date, and we instantly connected to the point that the idea of a first date almost seemed like unnecessary. You know when you meet people and it feels like you've known them for like a really long time? That's how it was with us. So we weren't in like this really formal like, oh, we need to go out to dinner kind of place. We just felt really close and connected already. However, Fabi decided that he wanted us to do something together for our first date. He wanted us to like do an activity, which yes, was a really adorable thought, but just turned out to be a horrible idea. So he sees these kayaks. They're laid out on the beach and they're for rent. You can rent them for a couple hours at a time and take them out into the bay, which is important. The fact that the beach we were on opened up into a bay. There were these two like things, extensions of the island, I guess is the best way to describe it, that kind of jetted around this bay. And then outside of the bay were these rock islands that just shot up from the water. They were really fucking cool. I'll insert a picture if I can find one. And so we go up to this guy who's renting these kayaks, and first of all, I like specifically remember that Fabi asks this man for his best kayak. Which kayak is the best? Give me your best boat, my friend. That's what Fabi says to this man, who then points to a sea kayak, which we pay for and we take out into the bay. And I think we rented this boat for about 2 hours, and before we like started our little adventure, we asked the guy who we were renting them from how long it took to paddle out to the islands, because that's where we wanted to go. We wanted to go see these really cool floating rock islands. And he said it was about a 40-minute trip there and a 40-minute trip back. So we're like, okay, great, cool, perfect, because that meant that we had about an extra 40 minutes to just like have a good time. And we start paddling, and it's taking us like a little longer than we had expected, which I take full responsibility for, because A, I'm not the strongest of people, all right? And B, this, by the way, this is a very key element of this story, all right? If you know me at all, if you know me even like the tiniest bit, you probably know that my biggest fear in the entire world, in the universe, in the existence and history of absolutely me everything ever. I am horrified of sharks, which I will defend till the end, by the way, because they eat people. Like, this is an okay thing to be scared of, I think. However, I will validate that I, as a person, take this fear like a little bit too far sometimes. I've told these stories before, but multiple times in my past, I had issues like getting into swimming pools because I thought that there were sharks in them. And just to illustrate how ridiculous this fear is, I currently live in Western Australia, all right? Literally 2 seconds from the beach. And for those of you who don't know, Australia is like known for just having great white sharks hanging out all the time in the water, okay? It's like a thing here. I think I've been in the water 2 times, and neither of those times were above like knee depth, okay? Because one of our Airbnb hosts told us that somebody got eaten by a shark in water that was just as high as their knees, and I can't with sharks, okay? They're not for me. So I admit that I was a little bit on edge being on this tiny little rickety sea kayak in the middle of the ocean. Okay, we weren't in the middle of the ocean, but we were in the middle of this bay, which I was convinced was teeming with like sharks that wanted to eat me alive. So we're paddling. I'm already on the nervous side of things, and it takes us a little bit over an hour, I think, to get out to the really cool little awesome rock things that we wanted to see in the first place. We start paddling back to shore, and at first it's just noticeably way more difficult to paddle than it was coming out, and I initially just thought that we were really tired or that I was ridiculously out of shape. I don't know. Fabi looks like a Greek god, okay? We were not questioning his athletic ability, but me, I just really like French fries, all right? Then we literally stop moving. Like, our kayak's not going anywhere. It feels like we're pulling a 3,000-pound cruise ship behind us. It's not working the way that it should. And then one of us, I don't remember who, probably Fabi to be honest, because my mind was just consumed with thinking about all of the sharks that were swimming underneath my kayak, like waiting to pounce. He realizes that since it was so much easier to paddle out to the islands than it was to paddle back, it probably meant that we were paddling with the tide on our way out, meaning that we were gonna have to paddle against it to get back home, which made like a little bit of sense, but at the same time, there were plenty of people on functioning kayaks who seemed to be doing just fine, all right? So it was just us. We were just stuck in the middle of the ocean on this kayak, still pretty hungover, by the way, going nowhere at all, but don't you worry, it gets better. So we're inching our way back to shore, and it's in this moment that I see a water bottle floating along in this beautiful, beautiful land, and being a human who loves this planet, I decided that I was going to reach out and grab this water bottle, which, by the way, was like bumping our kayak, okay? It wasn't a reach, I wasn't shifting my weight, I wasn't doing some crazy acrobatic thing to get this water bottle onto our boat. It was like right there, okay? Should have been no problem. I reach out to get this water bottle, and our kayak capsizes. It flips over. And I just really quickly and calmly want to inform you that this is my nightmare. This situation right here, me like in the middle of the ocean, out of my boat, in shark infested waters. I like keep making that up. There's literally no sharks even in Thailand. It's not something they're afraid of or worried about, but we know how my brain works when it comes to sharks, okay? We understand that I'm not the most rational or logical person as soon as they're introduced to my mindset, okay? So I'm freaking out. Fabi's shirt, sunglasses, and towel are sinking to the bottom of the ocean. We do somehow manage to keep a hold of our paddles and flip the boat over and like get back in. We're kind of laughing it off, and I'm trying to like calm myself down a little bit because I was literally on the verge of tears. I've known this guy for like 48 hours. I really like him already. He doesn't know how genuinely afraid of sharks I am, or that I am most comfortable ankle deep in the ocean, okay? He doesn't know that. He's not aware, nor do I really want to bring attention to the fact that I'm like a little bit insane, okay? It's a bit early for that. So I'm trying to rein it in. We paddle for another, I don't know, 30 seconds. It was ridiculous. And our kayak flipped over again. Oh my God, it flipped over for the second time, and we start going through this cycle of having our boat flip over, climbing back in, paddling for another 4 seconds, and having it flip over again. Like, it wasn't functioning the way a kayak should function, and nor was I functioning the way a human should function at this point. At a certain point, we realized a couple things. First of all, our boat is now starting to sink. It's filling up with water in 2 ways, which we found out later when we tried to pull the boat back up onto the beach, and Fabi couldn't even pull it up. The place where we sit was filling up with water, but then also sea kayaks, I think, are like hollowed out in the inside. I mean, I know they're hollowed out, but I don't really know why. I think there's like science and physics involved in the reasoning behind that, but I just know that they were hollow, and ours was filling up with water in the space that it was supposed to be full of air. And we confirmed this when we pulled the kayak onto the beach. We flipped it over, and water came pouring out of this kayak for like 3 solid minutes. It was just ridiculous. This isn't happening yet, okay? We're not on the beach laughing about this whole situation at this point. We're still on this boat that's in the middle of the ocean, filling up with water, and now sinking down. So we've been flipping over, and we're not really making any progress distance-wise for like the past hour, which is not only like really embarrassing, but it's also not that practical because the sun's going down, because of course it is. So Fabi realizes at this point that it's the weight of the boat that's becoming the problem. And he decides, because he's a sweetheart and also like an insane person, he decides to get out of the kayak and like push it from the back. I'm still giving it all I have, and eventually we kind of make our way towards land-ish. Like you can see the bottom at this point, and Fabi kept putting his feet on the corals, kind of take a break and catch his breath, which was a problem only because there were sea urchins everywhere. And I don't know if you know what those are, but they're these really evil, awful little plants that live underwater, and if you step on one, it like really hurts, and like you have to pee on it. I don't know. The majority of my understanding of these comes from that weird like penguin surfing movie. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's a penguin and a chicken and they surf, and then one penguin pees on another penguin because he stepped on a sea urchin. I don't know. It's like a thing, okay? It's a thing. It's a thing. Oh my god, the amount of times Fabi missed stepping on a sea urchin by like that much. I've never been more stressed out in my entire life. I don't think I've ever yelled at him that much either. I was screaming at him to not put his feet down because he was about to step on these things. I don't know. It was a very stressful first date, to say the least. And I mean, I will say, I'm glad that it happened, because not only was Fabi really adorable throughout the whole experience, but it's also just kind of a great story to have in the repertoire of our relationship. I am kind of glad that it happened. I mean, I'm glad it's over now, but it did bring us closer together. But yeah, that was our first date, and I just... I have so many more stories like this, like from Thailand, and just funny things that Fabi and I have gotten ourselves into, because I swear we attract like ridiculous scenarios. He was with me when I burned my eyelashes off, for example. So yeah, just let me know if you guys want to hear some more story times on this channel. Until then, just make sure to be following me and Fabi both on social media. Let me know down below in the comments of some ridiculous things that happened to you guys on first dates. Know in your heart of hearts that I love you all to the moon and back, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!